Have you ever wondered what the most beautiful city or the most beautiful town in France is? Get ready for a fascinating journey through time and beauty. Today, we're going to discover the 10 most beautiful cities in France, places that seem straight out of a dream, but are full of history, art, and curiosities you didn't know about. From fairy tale castles to secret passages and giant water mirrors, I promise you that by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which French city to travel to. Make yourself comfortable because this tour is about to begin. Welcome to our tour of the 10 most incredible cities in France. We're kicking off at number 10 with vibrant and authentic Marseille. It's the oldest city in France, founded by the Greeks over 2,600 years ago, with more history than your grandpa telling stories. If you're visiting, you can't miss the Old Port, the heart of the city. Stroll around, look at the boats, and try the famous bouillabaisse soup, a dish that was originally a humble fisherman's soup made with the day's leftovers. But today it's such a legendary delicacy that its secrets are passed down from generation to generation. You should also climb up to the Basilica of Notre-Dame de la Garde, affectionately known as La Bonne Mère, which offers you a breathtaking panoramic view of the city and the sea. And if you're looking for some adventure, the Château d'If, a fortress on a nearby island, will remind you that this place inspired Alexandre Dumas to write the famous novel The Count of Monte Cristo. In 9th place, we stop in Avignon, a city that transports you directly to the Middle Ages. But don't let its walls fool you. For almost 70 years in the 14th century, it was the seat of the popes instead of Rome. That's why you can't miss visiting the imposing papal palace, a fortress so large you could get lost in its corridors and not even realize it. And it's the largest Gothic construction in Europe. Furthermore, the city is famous for its Avignon Bridge or Pont Saint-Bénézet, which became legendary thanks to the children's song Sur le Pont d'Avignon. Although most of the bridge disappeared in a flood, so if you want to dance, you'll have to settle for the small remaining section. For the curious traveler, Avignon is also home to an annual theatre festival that turns the entire city into a stage. Rising to 8th place, we arrive at a city that looks like something out of a fairy tale, Colmar. Located in the Alsace region, its cobblestone streets and half-timbered houses make it so picturesque that it almost seems unreal. It's known as Little Venice for its picturesque canals that give it a unique charm. For a fact few people know, the sculptor Frederick Auguste Bartholdi, creator of the Statue of Liberty, was born here. In fact, there's a scale replica of the statue at the city entrance, so you don't forget that this Alsatian gem gave a gift to New York. It's essential to visit the Unterlinden Museum, located in an old convent, to see its famous masterpiece, the Eisenheim altarpiece. Thanks to its medieval and Renaissance architecture, Colmar is a city that will make you feel like you're in a movie. In 7th place, we find Toulouse, known as the Pink City. This nickname is no coincidence. Its pink brick buildings, when lit up at sunset, bathe the city in a warm, romantic hue that takes anyone's breath away. But Toulouse doesn't just live on its historical charm. It's also the heart of the European aerospace industry and home to Airbus, which gives it a modern and innovative energy. It's a city where tradition and avant-garde coexist. For history lovers, the Basilica of Saint-Sernin is a must-see. The largest Romanesque church in Europe, a true testament to medieval faith and grandeur. And if you're looking for the daily pulse of the city, nothing beats the Place du Capitole, the true heart of Toulouse, surrounded by cafes, bars, and restaurants where life never stops. A curious detail. In the 16th century, terracotta brick was an expensive and luxurious material. Walking through the streets of Toulouse, therefore, is like strolling among ancient symbols of wealth and ostentation, a heritage that gives the city its unmistakable personality. In 6th place, Annecy awaits us, known as the Venice of the Alps. And one look is enough to understand why. Its old town is crisscrossed by picturesque canals, surrounded by medieval houses with flowery balconies that look like they're straight out of a postcard. The main attraction is Lake Annecy, considered the cleanest in Europe, whose crystal-clear waters reflect the surrounding mountains. Whether it's a boat ride, enjoying a picnic on its shores, or daring to swim in its cool waters, the lake is the very essence of the city. Among the architectural gems, the Palais de Lille stands out, that iconic ship-shaped building rising in the middle of a canal. Over the centuries, it was a prison, a courthouse, and even a stately residence. Today, it is one of the most photographed monuments in all of France. Annecy is a place where alpine nature intertwines with medieval history, creating a serene and romantic atmosphere. Here, getting lost in its cobblestone streets or sitting on a terrace by the canal is not just a stroll. It's an experience that transports you to another era. We reach the halfway point of our list, in fifth place, with Strasbourg, a city that seems to live between two worlds. Its location, right on the border with Germany, has given it a unique identity throughout history. A harmonious blend of French and German culture, reflected in its architecture, gastronomy, and even in the language you hear on its streets. Its historic center, called the Grande Ile, was the first entire urban ensemble to be declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO, a true journey into the past. You will also find La Petite France, the most picturesque district of the city, with its half-timbered houses, flowered balconies, and canals that seem straight out of a fairy tale. But Strasbourg is not just a medieval story, it is also a modern and cosmopolitan city, the official seat of the European Parliament, making it the political heart of Europe. This contrast between the old and the contemporary is precisely what makes it so special, and of course, its most imposing jewel, the Strasbourg Cathedral, a Gothic masterpiece that, for more than 200 years, was the tallest building in the world. If you have the courage to climb the nearly 330 steps of its tower, you will be rewarded with an unparalleled panoramic view of the city and the Alsace region. In fourth place, we find Bordeaux, world-renowned as the wine capital. For wine lovers, the city is a true paradise, surrounded by legendary vineyards and historic cellars that produce some of the most prestigious wines on the planet. But this city is much more than wine. Known as the Paris of the South, it surprises with its elegant architecture and a historic center declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO, where every street seems to be an open-air museum. One of its most iconic places is the Place de la Bourse, accompanied by the world's largest water mirror. There, the reflections of neoclassical buildings on the surface create a magical spectacle, especially at sunset, when the city seems to merge with the sky. The most interesting thing is that this locality has managed to reinvent itself. In just 2 decades, it has gone from being an industrial and somewhat forgotten city to a top tourist destination, full of life, culture, and modernity. Today, strolling through its streets means discovering how wine tradition and urban elegance coexist in perfect harmony. We enter the top 3 with Nice, the true pearl of the French Riviera. This city is synonymous with Mediterranean elegance, with turquoise-toned seas and an almost always clear sky that make it a dream destination. Its famous promenade, the Promenade des Anglais, owes its name to the English aristocrats who financed it in the 19th century, when the city became the favorite refuge of European high society. Today, walking along this boulevard facing the sea remains an unmissable experience. Nice also boasts one of the largest and oldest carnivals in the world, with more than 700 years of history. Every winter, the city fills with floats, parades, and flowers, in a spectacle of color and joy that attracts thousands of visitors. But Nice is not just beaches and glamour. Its old town is a charming labyrinth of narrow, colorful streets, full of markets, restaurants, and cafes that vibrate with Mediterranean essence. You can feel a popular and authentic atmosphere that contrasts with the sophistication of the promenade. And an anecdote. Nice was part of Italy until 1860, and this heritage is still felt in its cuisine, architecture, and the city's way of life. It is precisely this mix of influences that gives Nice its unique charm, between French and Italian, between aristocratic and popular. We arrive in second place with Lyon, nothing less than the world capital of gastronomy. For food lovers, it's a dream place, from its traditional bouchons, where typical flavorful dishes are served, to Michelin-starred restaurants that have given the city international fame. Eating in Lyon is not just about nourishment, it's a cultural experience, but Lyon is much more than its cuisine. The old town of Lyon is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and walking through it is like traveling back in time. What really makes it special are its enigmatic traboules, secret passages that wind between buildings and hidden courtyards. These corridors were born in the Middle Ages so that silk weavers could transport their goods without getting them wet in the rain. But centuries later, they played a key role in the French resistance during World War II. Moreover, Lyon has another point of pride. Cinema was invented there. The Lumiere brothers shot the first films in history in this city, making it the cradle of the seventh art. And to top off the visit, nothing beats climbing to the Basilica of Notre-Dame de Fourvière, which watches over the city from the top of the hill. From there, The panoramic view of Lyon is simply spectacular, an image that remains engraved in every traveler's memory. And finally, in first place, the indisputable, the incomparable, the eternal City of Light, Paris. Few cities in the world evoke as many emotions and images as it does. From the imposing Eiffel Tower to the majestic Louvre Museum or the Gothic Notre Dame Cathedral, Paris is a global icon, a city that breathes art, history, and romance at every corner. But behind its most famous monuments are also fascinating stories. Did you know that German General Dietrich von Coltitz received direct orders from Adolf Hitler to reduce the city to ruins in 1944? The plan included the destruction of the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, Notre Dame Cathedral, and the Opéra Garnier. Fortunately, this general decided to disobey. And did you know that at the Louvre, the famous Mona Lisa was stolen in 1911 and disappeared for 2 years, an event that made it even more famous? The charm of Paris doesn't stop there. The Seine, with its 37 bridges, is another of the city's great protagonists. The Pont Neuf, which is curiously the oldest, holds centuries of stories. Walking at sunset along the Seine, as the city lights reflect on the water, is an experience that remains engraved in every traveler's heart. Paris is not just a destination, it's a feeling, a promise of beauty, and perhaps that's why it's rightly known as the most romantic city in the world. And that's our incredible journey through the 10 most beautiful cities in France. We hope this guide has inspired you to dream of your next adventure. Whether it's strolling along the canals of Annecy, discovering the secrets of Lyon, or getting lost in the romance of Paris, which of these cities captivated you the most? Is there one you already know and would add to the list? Leave us your comment below and share this video with your friends so they can be inspired too. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next journeys. See you next time.